What's up, guys? I'm Andrew Freed from Bass Freedom, and today I want to talk about the woman of bass throughout all the decades that the bass guitar has been prominent. I tried to put together a list of women who I think really made a big and large footprint in the bass world. Let me know if I've left anyone out who you think was worthy of this video, and excuse me about pronunciation. I'm going to do my best to say everyone's name correctly. There's tons of women here who you need to know. Now let's dive in. Let's start with the most arguably underrated musician of all time, Kaye. She's played bass on everything, and I guarantee tons of songs or themes you know. Literally thousands of records over 5+ decades, she's played on hit after hit in a male-dominated world of session musicians in LA, and has stated that she was never intimidated by the men around her. She's a badass.
People say, well, you're a woman in the studios, wasn't it hard? And I say, no, I knew that women were out there playing.
She started playing in the jazz clubs as a teenager on guitar, and by the time the 60s rolled around, she had switched to bass. She played on the bass with a pick, and she could adjust to any atmosphere and genre with creative, innovative, and melodic bass lines. I heard a quote that Paul McCartney said he was inspired on Sgt. Pepper's with Kaye's bass playing from the Beach Boys' iconic album Pet Sounds, which she played on. Also, TV film credits.
A ton of TV shows, MASH, Hawaii Five-0.
The list goes on and on. I'm a huge Kaye fan, and if you didn't know who she is, now you do. She's a legend. Talk about a powerhouse frontwoman. Suzi Quatro's bass playing and presence was a huge part of the 70s. For as young as she was then, and powerful as her performances were, it's understood how she was dubbed as the first female rock star. There's a chance her incredible skills may have been overshadowed with her leather jumpsuits during her recurring role as Leather Tuscadero on the TV show Happy Days. But she's sold over 50 million records worldwide and has reached amazing success ever since her debut album in 1973. Some of the most popular bass lines you've ever heard came from Tina Weymouth and her time with the Talking Heads during the 70s.
Say something once, why say it again? Say no to that, kiss, kiss, say.
In the 70s and 80s, the Talking Heads were one of the leaders of the new wave movement, and this bassist didn't get enough credit in my opinion. Tina has been married to the Talking Heads drummer Chris Frantz since 1977, and together they were a dynamic rhythm section infusing tons of different genres, such as rock, punk, and funk. They were also members in their side project, Tom Tom Club. She's awesome.
We're just born teenagers. Play it, Janice, play
it! Best known as the bassist of Sonic Youth, Kim Gordon was a punk rock legend as well as a frontwoman and vocalist. The alt-rock scene was never the same with the emergence of the gritty tone and melodic bass lines Gordon provided. An energetic presence for decades, Sonic Youth has 16 albums, which is pretty good for a person who started playing bass at age 27. Hey, it's never too late to start. Sonic Youth was working hard through the 80s independently and finally broke through mainstream success with a major label career in the 90s. Also known as Mickey Steele, Steele's first exposure to the bass world was as a founding member of the Runaways. Right before the band's big breakthrough, the reason she makes the list in the 80s was because of her major success with the Bangles.
For my possibilities, I was so hard to please. The ground is a brown, and the sky is a hazy shade of winter.
Kim Deal joined the Pixies as the bassist in 1986. Even though her main instrument was guitar, it didn't take her a long time to find a voice of her own on the bass guitar.
His teeth as white as snow. What a gas it was to see him walk her every day into a shady place. With her lips she said,
She was the co-vocalist leading to some of their biggest hits. The Pixies were a ringleader of the grunge scene, and the prominent bass lines Deal laid down were always a staple of every song. Her success led to her other band, The Breeders, with her twin sister. Kim had a lot of simple bass lines, and she was someone who really told us how being simple on the bass is okay, and that simplistic approach was awesome, especially in the Pixies. Getting her start in the 80s, making her way up, I'm gonna put Gail Ann Dorsey in the 90s due to her time with David Bowie. Her extended presence as the bassist for Bowie's band up until his death, she's a versatile bassist and her impressive session work shows. Over the years, she's played for Lenny Kravitz, Gwen Stefani, Tears for Fears, and more. Anytime Bowie would play Under Pressure live, Gail would be the one taking Freddie Mercury's part. She deserves as much respect as any bassist can get. Meshell Ndegeocello was a huge part of the 90s, and her bass playing is incredible. She's an absolute pioneer of the neo-soul genre, and 11 Grammy nominations later, she's as accomplished as it gets as a bassist, singer, and rapper.
Back in the day, when everyone was black and conscious and down for the struggle, love brought us all together, just sitting back and talk.
A successful solo artist, her recording accolades are impressive too, with the likes of the Rolling Stones, Alanis Morissette, Madonna, and others. She's a true natural and powerhouse. I would say she's one of the top female bassists of all time. Check out some of her albums from the 90s. You will definitely be impressed. Darcy Wretzsky is the original bassist of the rock band The Smashing Pumpkins. Credited on the first 6 studio albums, she helped lay down the low end and some of their most popular songs throughout the 90s. She stayed in the band all the way up until 1999. Speaking of the Smashing Pumpkins, Melissa Auf der Maur was the bassist that followed Darcy Wretzsky. She was briefly the bassist for the Smashing Pumpkins, but was actually first known from being in the rock band Hole alongside Courtney Love throughout the 90s. She was on the album Celebrity Skin, which was also Hole's biggest hit.
Better watch out. Now what you wish for. Better be with them. So much to die for.
Her success with these bands allowed her to launch a solo career, where she's had tons of great reviews on her albums. She's a solid bassist who could also lend a voice to great harmonies. You should definitely know who she is. Tal Wilkenfeld's resume is one of the best of any performing bassist out there. Born in Australia, when she made her way to the States and was playing jazz clubs in New York, she eventually was asked to jam with the Allman Brothers Band. After this, she put out her debut solo instrumental, Transformation, at just 19 years old, and auditioned for Jeff Beck's band. She's also performed with Prince, Herbie Hancock, Eric Clapton, Mick Jagger, and many others. Her recording accolades are impressive too. Still only in her 30s, Tal Wilkenfeld's bass career has a long way to go, and she's already done so much. She's awesome. Definitely know who she is. Best known for touring with Beyonce Knowles, Divinity Roxx is an awesome bassist and rapper.
Some people are born to lead and others are born to follow. Some people are born to spit it, others are born to swallow. Some are born to make the rules, others are born to break it. Some people are born to dish it, others are born to take it. I was born to make this better whenever, however, never will I. Let them take me, let them make me, cause I know it's a lie.
As a solo artist, she's able to play flashy percussive bass lines while rhythmically rapping at the same time. After attending Victor Wooten's Bass Nature camp in the early 2000s, Victor asked Roxx to tour with him and was a featured part of his show. As stylish as it gets too, Roxx is definitely a presence that has to be known. Many people know Paz Lenchantin as the current bassist for the Pixies, but she's had a very versatile career. On multiple instruments, mostly notable the violin in addition to being a great bassist. I'm placing her in the 2000s since she was part of the original members of A Perfect Circle, the rock band featuring vocalist Maynard James Keenan and guitarist Billy Howerdel of Tool. She's a very tasteful bassist and vocalist, and definitely one of the top tier ones out there. Esperanza Spalding has got to be one of the most popular female bassists out there. This isn't just because she beat Justin Bieber in 2011 for Best New Artist at the Grammys, but because of how much she's a true virtuoso. At the age of 5, she had taught herself many different instruments, such as violin, guitar, clarinet, and others. She was already performing too. She was an attendee and the youngest faculty member of Berklee School of Music in history at age 20. As a bassist, her bass lines are so melodic, all while singing over them with some of the most unique vocal melodies to combat what she's playing on the bass.
Well, somehow he feels it. The DJ at the station sends sweet salvation when he starts to play this song. Now you can't help singing along, even though you never heard it. You keep singing along.
Known mostly for alternating as a double bassist and electric bassist in her performances, as I said, Esperanza has to be the top of any list for female bassists. Ida Nielsen is one funky woman. Her slap style and bass playing looks effortless, yet is so funky and rhythmic that it's impossible not to be impressed. Also known as other stage names such as Bass Ida, in 2010, this Danish bassist started working with Prince and became a member of the New Power Generation, which was his backing band. She also has solo work, which is just as funky, and you should definitely check it out. I think you'll notice the Prince influence for sure. The Bengali Indian bassist that we all saw viral videos of as a kid and teenage prodigy, Mohini Dey has cemented herself as one of the most popular and awesome bassists of this day and age. The daughter of bassist Suzi Quatro, she began playing bass at the age of 3. Her versatility as an incredible session bassist is showcased through tons of different genres and styles such as funk, jazz, blues, Indian classical, fusion, and others. Her technical skills are top tier, showcased on her Sadowski basses, and is a true force to be reckoned with. Speedy fingerstyle, lightning fast slapped lines. She's active on social media and posts tons of videos which showcases her professionalism. Definitely go check her out and follow her. Speaking of social media, Blu DeTiger is a new upcoming bassist who's really taking advantage of this day and age. A content creator really blowing up during the COVID-19 pandemic, she would add slap bass and funky fingerstyle versions of popular songs and garnered significant attention. By the way, that's her real name. I was so shocked to find that out. Just Blu DeTiger clearly sounds like a stage name. It's not.
How did I get here?
An excellent player on her Fender jazz bass, she's now launched a successful solo career and has millions of followers. In August 2021, the issue of Bass Player described her as the future of bass, and she recently just signed with Capitol Records. Definitely check her out.
And I just got to be free, free, free. And I just got to be.
Alright guys, that's the video for today. Let me know if there's anyone I missed out that you were unhappy about not making this list. There's a lot of women out there. I'm sure that I missed some people that are worthy of this. and I really had a fun time putting this together for you. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see as I create my content. Also, a big thanks to everyone who checked out the history of slap bass video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff, and I really again appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Peace!